Right, ladies and gents, bit of a starter activity there for you. We're going to be going on to be working with percentages. So this is sort of basic work on percentages, fractions and decimals, which hopefully you've got experience of and you've covered in the past. So complete this starter, converting 18% to a decimal, 35% to a fraction, 0.42 to a percentage, 3/5 to a percentage, and then without using a calculator, find 10% of 370, 25% of 164, 5% of 90, 60% of 210, without using a calculator. Then using a calculator, 4% of 56 kilograms, 8% of 35 pounds, 3% of 180 kilometres, 12% of 140 centimetres. And there's a little extension question down here. Ali's earning £27,600 per year and pays 20% of this in income tax. How much income tax does she pay? Okay, so Ali, she earns £27,600 per year, 20% of it is paid in income tax each year, so how much tax is she actually paying? So that's your starter activity there, just to get you back in the swing of working with percentages, decimals and fractions, as I said. Okay, when we come back, I'll go through the solutions there for you. Okay, 18% to a decimal. So let's take on these questions first up here. The first section, 18% is a decimal. It's 18 100ths, so it is 0.18. Tenths, hundredths. 2 digits past the decimal point, so 18 100ths, 0.18. 35% as a fraction. So, what's it saying? It's saying you've got 35 100ths. So 35 100ths. Simplify that. 5's going to the 35 and the 100, so 7 over 20. 0.42 as a percentage. So 0.42 as a percentage, it's 42 100ths, 42%. So it's 42%. And then finally, 3/5 as a percentage. Okay. So let's give ourselves a little bit of space to work on that. So 3/5 as a percentage. Right. Let's have a little look at that. That means 3 divided by 5. 5 doesn't go into 3 at all. Carry the 3. 5's into 30, goes 6 times, no remainder. So, as a decimal, we've now got 0.6. Let's stick that 0 there. It doesn't change the value of it, but it helps us understand what that's going to be as a percentage, because that now is telling us 6/10, that's 60 100ths. So as a percentage, it is 60%. That's the first question completed there, ladies and gents. So let's give ourselves space again. And move on to the second question there. Without using a calculator, so they're nice easy numbers. 10% of 370, that's just going to be 37. 10% of 370, tenth of it, 37. 25% of 164. So we've got to do a little bit more work there, because 10% is 16.4, another 10%, another 16.4, and then 5% is 8.2. We need to add those all together. So that's 32, that's 40, 41 I'll make that. So 25% of 164 is 41. Yeah, it's a quarter of it. Quarter of it is another way of doing the calculation, so £41. Yeah, that sounds a good answer to me, a sensible answer. 5% of 90. 10% of 90 is going to be 9. So 5% is half of that. So 5% of 90 is going to be 4.5. 60% of 210. Well, okay. Well, 50% is 105. And then 10% is 21. Add the two together, that gives me 126. Is that a sensible type of answer? A little bit over half? Yeah, very sensible sort of answer there. Okay, for the last bit, the idea of a multiplier. So 4% of 56 kilograms. What's 4%? Decimal is 0.04. 4%. 4 100ths. 8% of 35 pounds. Your multiplier, 8 100ths, 0.08. 3% of 180 kilometres. 3 100ths, 0.03. And then 12% of 140 centimetres, so it's 12 100ths, 0.12. Now you need your calculator. Use those multipliers in each case to multiply your initial quantity. So I turn into the calculator, 0.04 times my 56 kilograms gives me 2.24. Let's change the colour there, so 2.24, is that a sensible type of answer? Yeah, I think it is really. 8% of 35, so 0.08 times 35 gives me 2.8. Is that a sensible answer? Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. 3% of 180, so 0.03 times 180, 5.4. Is that a sensible answer? Yeah, I think so. And then 12%, so 0.12 times, so 140, wasn't that? 16.8. Are they sensible answers? Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, I'm quite happy with those. Right, we'll do our extension question. So what was this talking about? It was saying Ali, she earns 27,600 per year, pays 20% of that in income tax. So, what's 10% of 27,600? 10% is £276. Two lots of that. £552 seems a sensible answer to me. So £552 is what she actually pays in income tax. Hold on a minute. Good. No, it's not enough, is it? We need to stick a Knole on those. Yeah. There we go. So £5,520. Yeah. Stick a Knole on those. Absolutely. Yeah. 10% is going to be 2,760. Another 10%, another 2,760. Add them together, £5,520. Okay. I was going to say that's not a lot of tax. £552. When you get used to paying tax, you'd appreciate that. Okay. Now to move on to what we really want to concentrate on. Increasing and decreasing quantities by a given percentage. Oh, we've got a cast moving past us at the moment, so a little bit of noise. Apologies for that. Just let them clear pass. Increasing and decreasing quantities by a given percentage. Okay, so what are we talking about here? If we had 50, and we said, right, we want to increase that by 10%. So we're starting off with a number of 50, and we want that to increase by 10%. So we know what 10% of 50 is. So 10% is 5. So if you've increased 50 by 10%, what's our new figure? Our new figure is going to be 55, because that's the 50 plus 5. Now we've increased something by 10%, and I'm using easy numbers here. We've increased it by 10%, so let's just think about, with this easy example, you can understand exactly what's happening there with the easy numbers. If we wanted to increase 50 by 10%, so we want our 100%, our 50, plus whatever the 10% is. So 10%, our multiplier would be what? Our multiplier would be 0.10. 0.1. Really, what we're talking about is we want to increase it by 10%, so what are we actually looking for? We're looking for 110%. So our multiplier would be 1 whole 1 and our extra 10%, which gives us 50 times 1.1, which gives us 55. Okay, so I've used easier figures to deal with there. So we're starting off with 50, we want to increase it by 10%. We know from the simple calculation that 10% of 50 is 5. So that means that if we increase 50 by 10%, we've got 55, because we add 5 to our original 50 to give us our 55. Then going back to the idea of multipliers, we wanted to get 10%, we multiply by 0.1. So if you want to get 110%, we multiply by a whole 1 and then our 0.1. So 1.1 is our multiplier that gives us our final result of £55. So let's have another look at another example there. So let's just take, what should we do? We'll take 64 and we want to increase it by 25%. Now, just to do it in simple terms so you can see it, and then we'll check it using a multiplier. What's 25% of 64? 25% of 64 is 16. 25% of 64 is 16. It's a quarter of it. So 25% gives me 16. So 64 increased by 25%, 64, my original, plus 16, which gives me 80. Let's go back to the idea of multiplier. So if I wanted 25%, I'd say 0.25 times 64, which again gives me 16. If I wanted to do it all in one calculation, so my 100% that I start with, and then my 25%, you can check this on your calculator, 1.25 times 64 will give me 80. So my multiplier is 1 whole 1 and the 25% that I want to increase, and 25% as a decimal is 0.25. Okay, so that's the basic ideas and basic principles, and that will form the basis of the questions that you're going to be doing later on. That's increasing. What about if we're decreasing a quantity? So this is slightly different. So let's take those same figures again, so that we know what we're working with. We want to take 50, and we want to decrease it by 10%. So again, in simple terms, we know 10% is 5. So if we're decreasing 50 by 10%, it's 50, take away the 5, which gives us 45. Now, we're decreasing something by 10%, what are we going to do? We're going to take that whole one, and we're going to reduce it by 10%. Which now gives me my new multiplier. We're taking my whole one, which is what we start with, the 50. We're reducing it by 10%, 0.10, which gives me my new multiplier of 0.9. So if I now multiply 50 by 0.9, you can check this on your calculator, what does that give me? 50 multiplied by 0.9 gives me, hold, 45. So, similarly, I'm going to take 64. I'm going to decrease it by 25%. So in simple terms, we know that 25% of 64 rather, is 16. So 64 taken by 16 gives me 48. Let's think about multipliers so that we know how to deal with these type of questions. So we take our whole one, and we take away 25%. 25% as a decimal is 0.25. So my new multiplier is my whole one, take away the 25%, 0.25, which gives me 0.75. So my new quantity is 0.75, my multiplier, times 64, which gives me 48. And you can check that on your calculator. Okay? So the idea of a multiplier, whether we're increasing or decreasing, start off with our value of 1, and then we either add or subtract our multiplier value to give us a new multiplier value, and give us our answer, help us towards our answer. Okay, so an actual practical example. Price of an item is going to increase from £6.80 by 5%. What is the new price? So, we can do that a couple of different ways, can't we? We know how to do these now. So we could say £6.80, 10%, 68p. So 5% is 34 pence, and so £6.80 plus 34 pence gives me £7.14. Okay, that's in simple terms because we've got nice figures to deal with there. If we wanted to use a multiplier, we're increasing. So we're starting off with our whole one. So we want to increase. So we're going to have the £6.80 plus whatever the addition is when we increase by 5%. The multiplier, 5/100ths, the decimal's 0.05. So our multiplier overall to give us our result is 1.05. 1.05 times £6.80, which Try it on your calculator. So 1.05 times 6.8, and that should give us 7.14, which it does. Needed my glasses just to check that, to make sure it was correct. Okay, so a new example. An item costs £8, but it's going to be reduced in price by 4%. So really, we're starting to get in the realms of, they're not particularly easy numbers for us to deal with. We could still deal with it just by taking what's 1% of £8 and then working out what 4% is. Let's just go for a multiplier straight away. So we've started off with our whole one, and we're reducing it, so we're taking away. What percentage are we taking away? We're taking away 4% of our whole one. So what's 4% as a decimal? Is 0.04. So our multiplier is going to be 0.96. So the new price is going to be our £8 multiplied by a multiplier, which is 0.96. So the new price is going to be something less than £8, hopefully. So we start off with 8, we multiply it by 0.96, and that takes us to £7.68. Is that a reasonable type of answer, £7.68? Yeah, I think it is. 10% of £8 is going to be 80 pence, half of that's 40 pence, so roughly 40 pence, a little bit less than 40 pence taken away from our £8, £7.68. Yeah, that's a reasonable type of answer. I'm quite happy with that. So we've started off with our whole one, we've taken away the percentage that we're reducing in price to 0.04, used that multiplier on our initial cost to get our new reduced price. Okay. Let's have a little look and see if we've got some other examples here, just to give ourselves a little bit of practice. TV normally costs £210. It's been reduced by 20%. Calculate the amount by which it is reduced in price. Okay, we can go with that one. It's reduced by 10%, so 20%. So 10% reduction. And we're using nice round numbers here, so we can just go down the simple method. 10% is £21. So 20% is £42. So it's reduced in price by £42. The new price is 210. Take away 42, which gives us what? 170, £168. Could we do that? Could we go straight to the new price using a multiplier? Well, if we start off with one, whole one, we're taking 20% off. So that's our new multiplier. So 0.8 times 210 should give us 168, which indeed it does. So 0.8 times 0.8 times 210 does give us £168 again. Okay, using the multiplier. So when we've got nice little figures like this, 20%, 10%, 50%, yeah, we can go down this route. Don't forget, when things get a little bit more complicated, we're going to need to have an understanding and know what we're doing with a multiplier. Okay. Value added tax is added to the cost of most things we buy, so VAT. If it's 20% VAT, calculate the total cost of each of the following items. So, what's our multiplier going to be? Our multiplier is going to be 1 whole 1 plus, and it's plus because we're increasing the cost. So 1.2 times 1300, 1.2 times 13,000, isn't it? Oh my goodness, the eyesight's going here, ladies and gents. So 15,600. So 15,600 would be my new price with the VAT added, and £150 multiplied by 1.2 would give me £180 as my new price using my multiplier. Okay. Class sizes in the school are going to be increased by 12%. Year 7 currently has 236 pupils. So how many new pupils are going to be in the new new Year 9? Okay, so we've got to be a little bit shrewd about this. It's going to increase. So our 1 whole 1, what we're starting off with, and we're adding 12%. So it's 12% as a decimal is 0.12. So our multiplier is 1.12. So now to get our new pupils, we're starting off with our starting figure of 236. Use our multiplier. So 1.12 times 236. Now it actually gives me an answer of 264.32. But can we have 0.32 children? No, we can't. So my answer is going to be 264 children. Okay, it's likely to be the new number of pupils joining the school. Because if we round that 264.32 to the nearest whole number, because we've got our whole children coming into the school, it's going to be 264. And you'd need to write a little bit of explanation about that, maybe why you've rounded that figure to satisfy the examiner and the person who set you the question that you know and understand what you're doing. Okay, so we've done a few examples there. We've talked about reducing and increasing costs. So this one was reducing, so our multiplier is going to be less than 1. And when we're increasing, it's going to be more than 1, our multiplier. So you've got a few examples there to be working with. Hopefully that will help you be able to cover questions for yourselves in the topic. I hope that's been of use to you. Don't forget, you can always be pausing the video and going back and re-watching pieces if you're not quite getting it first time. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that has been helpful to you.